In this 55th episode on the Myositis YouTube channel, I'm going to reach outside my area of comfort and speak about a subject matter that I know interests many IBM'ers, elevators. We've all been on elevators, but probably never dreamed that we might have to consider having one in our own home. Unless we already live in a single-floor dwelling, the decision to consider an elevator installation will probably depend on our home's construction design. Not all homes are suited for an elevator installation. I previously lived in a quad-level home and without a doubt could not have been made accessible even with the installation of 2 elevators. When realizing that in 2008, I searched for months for a ranch-style home that could have an elevator installed without sacrificing the usefulness of our home. The home we purchased in 2009 had more than enough bedrooms to suit our needs, and one of them was located over an unoccupied area in a lower level that could accommodate an elevator installation. This room could also be converted into an office, and the fact that the master bathroom could also be converted into an accessible and usable space for me in my IBM future was reason enough to select this home. I'm not going to tell you which elevator brand or design is best for your home or your IBM condition. I'll let your elevator specialist attempt to do that for you. What I am going to go over in this video are some of the elevator terms and what you better be able to tell your elevator specialist how you intend to use the elevator in your future with IBM. Let's discuss some topics such as types of elevators, weight, capacity, and size, the most important aspects of planning for your future IBM needs. First, the types of home elevators. There are the traditional cable-driven elevators and hydraulic elevators. The cable elevators wind and unwind a lift cable on a drum to raise and lower the elevator. The drum is turned by an electric motor. The hydraulic elevator usually requires a secondary equipment room that houses the hydraulic oil reservoir, a hydraulic pump, and an electric motor, all of which are more expensive than the cable elevators. There are also vacuum elevators that to date would not suffice in adequate size or load capacity for an IBMer sitting on his power chair. First of all, and very important, make sure that you specify and verify that the elevator you are selecting will be the proper size and load capacity that will include a full-size power chair and, of course, you sitting on it. If your power chair weighs 425 pounds like mine does, add your body weight to that for the needed lift capacity. Measure your power chair or look one up in the spec sheets and determine the overall length and width of the power chair, including the foot plates, then add a few inches for additional maneuverability. Remember, you will be backing into or out of the elevator, so any extra space that can be afforded will be welcome. Since there's a high likelihood that you will end up in a power chair during your later stages of IBM, selecting an elevator that does not provide the necessary load capacity and size requirements that you need may not be a wise investment. My Quantum Edge 3 power chair is 26 inches wide by 43 inches long. Every chair will be different depending on its configuration. Standards for factors of safety are all over the place these days and also important in elevator design. Most famously, the standard factor of safety for any cables used in elevators is 11. So if space allowed, you could pack 11 times the weight into what an elevator's load capacity placard card says and probably survive the ride if the cables were the weak link in the system. For most engineered designs, a safety factor of 4 is considered to be a great number. In the aircraft industry, a factor of safety standard is only 1.5. Think about that when you get on a commercial airliner sometime. The slim factor of safety represents the importance of weight in aviation. It also means that much more time, engineering analysis, and testing has gone into the determination of maximum load and the properties of parts used in the airplane. I sent an inquiry to Stilts Elevators about the capacity of their products for use with a person seated in a power chair. Their response was, and I quote, Unfortunately, the weight capacity in our Trio Alta elevator is 500 pounds. We won't be able to accommodate anything more than that. Several other manufacturers fall into the same unrecommended list in that their elevators do not qualify to carry an IBM'er sitting in a full-size power chair. And now for a short discussion about the cost of an elevator. As the cost of having an elevator installed in your home might range from $15,000 to $40,000, you might initially have the impression that having an elevator installed in your multi-story home is too costly. Your option might be to sell the family home and buy a one-story house with laundry facilities on the first floor. But this comes with a steep price when you factor in the closing costs, the expense of hiring a moving company, and dealing with all the emotions of leaving the memories made in your home. Installing a home elevator is a viable option for more and more seniors these days. While the upfront cost can appear to be a staggering amount, home elevators add the value to your property with estimates starting at around 10% of the current value of your home. During your research for an elevator, you will run into two terms, pit and pitless. This refers to the base preparation on the lowest floor to accept the elevator's platform and or allow for some over-travel adjustment to assure the floor of the elevator can be adjusted even with the lower floor surface. And some elevators are considered pitless, where the front edge of the floor plate is beveled to make the ramp surface for ease into and out of the carriage. An alternative in some designs is to have a short 2-inch ramp built in front of the elevator. Let's talk about elevator safety. All modern elevators must comply to certain safety standards to protect the user as well as bystanders. Even my old elevator, purchased used and removed from a home in northern Illinois in 2012 and was probably 10 years old then, and reinstalled in my home, has many safety protections built into its design. There are many switches and sensors that protect the elevator from unintentional dangers during its operation. When the elevator is at the lower level and somebody places an object on top of the floor above the elevator detects the extra load and will not rise past that point. Likewise, when the carriage is at an upper level and a box or object is inadvertently placed below the elevator, it will stop when contacting the object. There are switches that sense the travel at every level to assure the carriage always stops when the two floors are lined up perfectly. There are also switches that limit any elevator movement if the door or curtain is not completely closed. Many home elevators require a constant touch to the up and down switch in the carriage, and if the finger pressure is released, travel will stop. My elevator has a 2.5-second delay after pressing it, which avoids any accidental bumping or a child playing with the up or down buttons. My elevator has a removable key in the carriage as well as in both call stations that can be used to lock out the elevator. In stage 3 of your IBM, when you are mobile only via your power chair, it may become difficult to reach up to press any elevator buttons if the height was designed for people standing in the elevator carriage. Can you close the elevator curtain or door with diminished arm and hand strength? Ask your elevator company if it's possible to lower the control panel to where you can more handily reach them, and ask if there is an automatic elevator door or curtain available for the model you have chosen. Making these requests up front will add to the time that you can more dependently operate the elevator. Or perhaps an elevator isn't right for you or your pocketbook. In that case, I would recommend that you look at vertical platform lifts that can be installed inside or outside your home at a fraction of the cost of an elevator. A vertical platform lift will accomplish the same job for you, but are sometimes limited to servicing only 2 floors. You can have a platform lift built in your home just like a regular elevator, or you can purchase a freestanding model that you can easily move if your address changes. There might be some IBM'ers that select to build a new home instead of refurbishing their current residence. It might be a good idea to specify a designated shaftway for installation of an elevator with your home designer or contractor. Even if the elevator will not be installed in the initial construction, stacking 2 extra storage closets on top of each other make for an easier elevator or platform lift installation in the future. Every once in a while there are used platform lifts and even elevators available on the used market. The key to buying a used lift might be tied to the contractor that you have inspect, remove, and reinstall the lift for you. We were fortunate to find my elevator on the used market in 2012, and my contractor had the opportunity to inspect the elevator to make sure it was working properly, and also disassembled the elevator himself to know how it needed to be reinstalled in my home. There's still another type of power chair lift that you might consider, and it's called an inclined platform lift. If you can imagine driving your power chair on top of a platform and having it go straight up the staircase like on a stair lift, that's an inclined platform lift. I hope my elevator ramblings broaden your thinking about home elevators and lifts if you are considering one in your near future. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and the notification bell if you have not done so in previous episodes. You're more than welcome to share any of these videos with fellow IBM'ers, friends, families, and neighbors. May your ups and downs be a pleasant experience, my friends.